Part 42. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 415. After the two left, Elsa returned to the room. The princess was still sleeping on the bed with a calm face, like a sleeping beauty, but Elsa's face was not relaxed at all. Because, the princess never woke up at all. I have tried various methods, but nothing works. The more Elsa thought about it, the more irritable she became. Elsa was the one who revealed the results, and she boasted that she would definitely cure the princess, but now, he has tried every method he can think of. Elsa even sacrificed herself, imitating the plot in the story where the prince kisses the princess and the princess wakes up, but it is of no use at all. Originally, Elsa had made a good calculation. She would save the princess, make her heart beat with the grace of saving her life, and then ask her teacher to work on it and publicize this matter in the imperial city. The genius mage and the princess are a match made in heaven. The grace of saving one's life is pledged with one's own body. On his side, he can get along with the princess day and night, establish an intimate relationship, and capture the princess's heart in one fell swoop. Elsa is confident that with her superior background, status, and extraordinary handsome appearance, she will be able to charm the princess and marry him. The idea is very good, but now it is stuck on the first step, saving the princess. A mage is half a priest. Any mage who has studied magic potion has a certain ability to cure diseases and save people. But magic potions are Elsa's weakness. In the past, she used the skill of a three-legged cat to deceive ignorant civilians, and even if something happened, she could suppress it. But now she is treating the princess, and if she is not careful, she will kill someone. Then Elsa's official career in Venato will be over. Yes, Elsa suddenly remembered a person he hated very much and murmured to herself, that old man is hiding in Clay City now and has opened a small shop, he must have a way. Save the princess. Back then, Elsa became a disciple of Grain because of the latter's great achievements in magic potions. At first, she wanted to learn magic potions, but she didn't have the talent in this area, so she just studied it. Elsa walked back and forth a few times, thinking about how to catch the person without arousing suspicion from outsiders. The only person who can cure the princess is Elsa. It's an excuse to find that old man to nurse the princess's depleted body. When the dead old man cures the princess, who cures it is not a matter of his own words. Elsa continued to think about the details of how to bring people here. The old man would definitely not agree when he heard that he was going to take credit for his work, but if a few trash from the imperial city were used to threaten him, the old man would not dare to refuse. Wait for the old man to rescue the princess, and then use the incident of the thief who attacked the princess to name the suspect as the old man. Elsa replanned, and after making sure there were no mistakes, he quickly walked out of the room. At this time, the transparent window glass of the room was originally only opened a crack, but it seemed to be gently pushed open by a pair of invisible hands. Ta-da! A slight sound of landing sounded on the carpet next to the window, and two shoe prints were dented on the carpet. Sutinyu took off his hat and revealed his figure. Is this the princess? Sutinyu approached the bed and looked at the sleeping beauty curiously. You're still alive. Did the princess faint from fright? Sutinyu retracted the little finger that had just been put under the princess's nose. The thief is another player's method of making a person unconscious. Could it be that some props were used? Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 416. The game props were all kinds of weird and had various functions. After Sutinyu observed them for a while, he couldn't figure out what game props caused the princess's coma. I didn't expect that Elsa is really an idiot. However, he thought that it would be advisable to let the master rescue the princess. Sutinyu thought about it secretly. I don't know if the princess's lost orb is actually. If you want to confirm the mermaid's orb, you first need to ask the princess, and the second is to find other players who have taken the orb. After becoming a disciple of Grain, Sotingyu also informed the former about Yuan Pen. Instead, Green borrowed the conch and remade the disc, refining a disc with a search range as large as a city. After practicing magic, Sotingyu also knew how to use the disc. In the past half-month, in his spare time between endorsements, Sotingyu used the disc several times to search Clay City, but found nothing. The players who captured the orbs were not that stupid and wanted to come back. There was no way. Sotingyu wanted to confirm whether the princess orb was the mermaid orb, so she could only go to the princess herself to confirm. First complete master's instructions, and then come find the princess. Sotingyu took one last look at the princess, put on his hat, and disappeared into the room. Haha. The curtains at the edge of the window were blown up by the wind, and the shoe prints on the carpet were smoothed away by the breeze, leaving no trace. You go, remember, you can't alarm anyone in the city lord's mansion, you must bring people back. When Elsa returned to her residence, she immediately called a few confidants and left the matter to them. As you command, master. Several confidants agreed in unison and retreated. Elsa sat casually on the sofa, reached out and pulled off her collar. At this time, a petite maid came over carrying a plate. There were some delicate pastries and red wine on the plate. The maid lowered her head, placed the plate on the long table in front of the sofa, and poured the red wine that had been poured into the glass jug into the empty wine glass. After doing this, the maid bowed to Elsa and left with the empty plate. Elsa picked up the wine glass and took a sip. His eyes kept moving as the maid left. Why hadn't he noticed such a petite and pitiful maid before? Elsa prefers women with plump figures and sizable front and back, but it doesn't seem impossible to change her taste occasionally. The more Elsa thought about it, the more her chest felt tighter, and the red wine she just drank seemed to be like boiling hot water in her stomach, gradually boiling. What's going on? Elsa suddenly felt that her mouth and tongue were dry. He didn't care about being reserved and drank the remaining red wine in the glass. The moment the wine entered his throat, what followed was a huge emptiness. Dry feeling. Water, where is the water? Elsa started to look for water, and he shouted, someone. I want to drink water. After shouting for almost a minute, still no one appeared. At this time, Elsa finally realized that something was wrong, and stood up excitedly, only to find that her legs and feet had become sore and weak at some point, and she couldn't work up her energy at all. Wine, this wine. Elsa's face was extremely ugly, and he threw away the wine glass in his hand. The wine glass fell to the ground, and there was a carpet on the ground. There was only a muffled sound, but the wine glass did not break. There's something wrong with this wine. No, there is that strange maid. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 417. Hey, you haven't gotten down yet, you have good willpower. Elsa turned her head instantly, and at the top of the stairs, the original maid who came to deliver drinks and cakes appeared. His ordinary little face was filled with a warm smile that was completely inconsistent with his appearance. The maid clicked her tongue and sighed, sure enough, there is a certain reason why master took a fancy to you. Elsa stared at the unfamiliar-looking maid in front of her, gritted her teeth and asked, you, who are you? Me. The maid smiled slowly, respectfully, Master Elsa, you wanted me twice, you won't forget me so soon, will you? Elsa's pupils shrank, how could you? Etc. The appearance is different, this is a disguise potion. You are the person sent by that old man, Elsa seemed to suddenly realize, gritting her teeth, haha, that old man really wants to murder the princess. Elsa suddenly became excited. He finally caught the fake old man. It was just slander at first, but now, there is even solid evidence. Disguise potion, this is the old man's unique secret potion, and only he knows how to make it. And that old man actually gave the disguise potion to the thief who murdered the princess, and he was charged with it. Be respectful. He is your former mentor. Sotinyu frowned slightly, and the meteor rod she placed in the inventory suddenly felt a little itchy and wanted to hit someone. Elsa seemed to have heard some big joke, and her emotions suddenly became excited. Haha, that dead old man hides everything, he is a shitty mentor. Tisk, tisk, Sotinyu asked with gazing eyes. Back then, you were the one who killed Grain's young apprentice, and then you wanted to ruin Grain's reputation. Although Sotinyu had learned about these things from his master, and during the short period of half a month's teaching, his master had explained everything he knew, but just in case, he still had to confirm it with Elsa. So what? A hypocrite who wants to rob what belongs to me, a hypocrite who is hypocritical. Everyone deserves to die. Elsa's eyes were red and her face was extremely ferocious. Tisk, tisk, Sotinyu sighed slightly. Sotinyu added a lot of ingredients to this drink. In compliance with the wishes of the old master, the method to deal with this beast is to use magic potions. Among them, there are magic potions that temporarily block the magic power, utter truth, make the hands and feet weak, and make people irritable. Sealing the magic power directly cut off Elsa's main means of counterattack. Speaking the truth is to facilitate questioning. The weakness of her limbs and irritability are just to prevent Elsa from losing any hope of resistance in her body and mind. The other servants in the castle were also drugged by Sotinyu and fell into a coma. When they woke up, they would not remember that they had been in a coma. Although, Sotinyu believed that he could be subdued and killed even with force. However, there should still be some stability. Elsa suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and the red blood contained traces of scattered black threads. This is a sign of poisoning. Sotinyu also added poison. Most of the magic potions used were actually given by his master. Sotinyu was not powerful enough to refine so many kinds of magic potions. How could he not lose them when these magic potions with different effects were mixed together? Among various effects, another separation agent is also used. Use the magic potion refined by the master to end Elsa's life. Rounding things off, the master has come to clean up the house himself. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 418. Elsa died, but not completely. Sotinyu took Elsa's body, carefully noted down the latter's facial features, and then drank a bottle of disguise potion to become Elsa herself. Quack, I am a genius mage that Venato has not seen for thousands of years, Master Emissa. Sotinyu couldn't help but win the second prize as soon as he got interested. Ahem, stop it, serious business is the most important thing. Sotinyu took out a book, opened it, found a cleaning magic spell, then took out a magic wand and started chanting the spell on the book. After stumbling and chanting, the tip of the magic wand automatically turned, and a beam of starlight appeared, flying over the blood and wine stains on the carpet. In just one glance, the blood and wine stains were removed. Sotinyu picked up the wine glass from the ground and placed it on the table. Then he looked at Elsa's body, took out a bottle of magic potion, and dropped a drop of grey potion on the body. Hiss! The corpse began to turn into water, and then turned from water into gas, evaporating into the air. Sotinyu frowned, waved his magic wand, and used a simple wind spell. The breeze blew up and blew the stinky air out of the window. After finishing these things, Sotinyu stared at Elsa's big face and walked out of the city lord's mansion in a swagger. As soon as he left the city lord's mansion, Sotinyu hurried to the master's shop in a carriage. When Sotinyu arrived, there were already some quarrels in the store. Although he knew that his master was very capable and would not suffer a loss, Sotinyu still ran into the store as fast as he could as soon as he got off the carriage. Wait, as soon as Sotinyu entered the store, he saw that several of Elsa's confidants were planning to take Grain away by force, and quickly stopped him. Everyone in the store turned to look at Sutingyu. While Sutingyu recalled Elsa's arrogant attitude, she ordered several of Elsa's confidants, "You go out and guard the door first. I have something to say to this old man." "As you command, master." Several confidants did not doubt that he was there. Although they were surprised that the master came here in person, they never imagined that his master was dead and the person in front of him was an impostor. After several of his confidants went out, Sutingyu quickly cast a soundproofing spell and explained to Glenn, "Master, it's me. You can't recognize me, can you?" When Glenn saw Elsa for the first time, he really thought it was the real Elsa. But it took him a few seconds to realize that that beast didn't have the courage to appear in front of him without the support of the Archmage. "Did you succeed?" Glenn asked. Sutingyu chuckled, "My enemy, that guy was turned into air by a drop of Master's zombie potion. I thought my master would be very happy to hear this news, but he frowned. Don't smile at me with such an animal face, it always feels weird." Sutingyu's eyes were stunned. "Master, tell the truth, do you really want to beat me now?" "Okay, why don't you come here now?" Green didn't refuse. Obviously he was a little tempted by this, but fortunately, he still remembered that this was his new cheap apprentice, and he was also the only one. Apprentice now. Sutingyu came forward and stretched out his face with a smile on his face. "Master, I'll give you a beating." Ahem. Green stretched out his hand and knocked Sutingyu on the head with moderate force. As a result, the latter held his head and took several steps back, yelling, It hurts. Master, I was wrong. I can't die. I am worse than a scumbag. Master, please beat me to death." Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 419. Sutingyu told Green about his plans, and the latter simply agreed. "By the way, some of Elsa's confidants outside are also murderous and evil beasts. They don't have to go back and stay here forever." A cold light flashed in Green's eyes and his tone was cold. Sutingyu readily expressed support. "Okay, master. Just wrap it up on me." Sutingyu repeated his old tricks, using all kinds of strange magic potions to knock out his henchmen and then kill them one by one, ensuring that they would never see the sun again tomorrow. Glenn divided the precious items in the store into two and put them all into 2 storage rings. He wore one on his finger and gave the other to Sutingyu. Looking at the empty shop, Sutingyu asked doubtfully, "Master, what do you want me to do? Also, are you moving? Elsa's death can only be concealed for a while. The Archmage behind him will investigate thoroughly whether it is to seize the Master's handle or to lose face when his apprentice is killed. Of course, the Master cannot stay here stupidly." Waiting for someone to settle the matter, Green explained. "And that beast is dead. There is no need for me to stay on Clay Island. The world is so big. In addition to Venado, there is a wider world ahead. I want to go out for a walk. I know you. There is a storage magic weapon, it belongs to you, this is given to you by my master." For the first half of his life, Glenn always stuck to Venado, which is a pity. Now that Elsa is dead and the knot in his heart has been resolved, Glenn doesn't want to stay in Venado anymore, so he comes up with the idea of going out to explore the outside world. Maybe there will be magic on other lands that Grain has never seen before. "What about you, what are your plans after this matter is settled?" Seeing that his master did not directly ask him if he wanted to travel together, Sutingyu felt a little unsure. "My master knows the art of divination, does he know how to do it?" "Master, I still have some very important things to do. If I have the chance, I will definitely come to visit you." Sutingyu could not make any promises and could only give an uncertain answer. "Okay." Green nodded without any hesitation. "Young man is ambitious in all directions, just do whatever you want to do. Don't worry, just have no regrets." "Yeah, Sutingyu nodded with complicated emotions. Master probably wouldn't have thought that she herself was not from this world at all, and could never stay for a long time. She was just an occasional traveler passing by. When the car comes, it's time to leave. Is this really just a copy? Such doubts arose in Sutingyu's heart again. For many moments, Sutingyu almost treated this dungeon as a real world. In this world, all the creatures she encountered, Dasha, Crying Dragon, Master, were all like living creatures. Lives, rather than cold mechanical game data. Sutingyu and Glenn returned to the city lord's mansion in a carriage. With the face Sutingyu was wearing, no one would doubt that he was the nutritionist invited to recuperate the princess's body. After arriving at the princess's room smoothly, Green immediately checked the princess's condition. Glenn checked out that it was a kind of spell that caused people to live in nightmares. As for the spell to relieve it, he couldn't deduce it for a while. He could only try other spells to relieve nightmares. When Grain tried the third spell, the princess, who was lying quietly on the bed, blinked her eyelashes slightly. "Princess, wake up. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 420. Your Highness, you're awake. Sutingyu leaned over. Unexpectedly, when the princess saw Sutingyu's face, she suddenly screamed. "Ah! Pervert! Someone is coming quickly." "Sutingyu? No no no. Not me. I haven't done anything." 10 minutes later. Sutingyu understood why the princess screamed when she saw her, when she saw her current face. It turned out that during the period when the princess was in a coma, although she could not wake up or move, she still retained consciousness. When the shameless Elsa secretly kissed the princess, the latter was conscious and could feel it. The princess was very angry at that time, but she couldn't wake up. Sutingyu quickly lifted the effect of the disguise potion and finally convinced the princess that she was not that scumbag Elsa. "Thank you both for your kindness." After the misunderstanding was resolved, the princess naturally had a favorable impression of Sutingyu and Glenn, who had rescued her. "That's it, Your Highness Princess." Sutingyu began to ask the players about the thieves, but he certainly wouldn't be stupid enough to say that he knew those players. Instead, he said that he had issues with those players and wanted to catch them so he could take revenge. After stating his position, he immediately gained another wave of favor from the princess. Sutingyu took the opportunity to ask about the orb. The princess did lose an orb, but the origin of the orb was a relic of the princess's mother, and it was also a trousseau gift when the princess mother married into the royal family. It was more than 500 years old and had nothing to do with the mermaid orb. According to the mermaid orb has existed for at least 1,000 years. This time, the clue was broken again. The princess wanted to stay with the two of them for a while to entertain them, but Grain declined. This princess is the eldest daughter of the king's first wife. The queen died of illness when the princess was 10 years old. The current queen is already the fourth. In recent years, the royal family has withered, but this princess can be safe. Grow up. Grain heard the secret voice and sent a message to Sutingyu. The meaning of these words is self-evident. This princess may not be very favored. It has been almost a month since she was unconscious, but there seems to be no response from the imperial city. Only Elsa volunteering to come here can tell some clues. But this princess is definitely not simple. Your Highness Princess, it's time for us to leave. See you again when we are destined, Sutingyu said calmly. Well, if you have time, you can come to the imperial city to play with me, the princess smiled kindly. After leaving the city lord's mansion, the two of them left the city directly without stopping in the city. Arriving at the seaside, Green bought a ticket to a new land. When they parted, Sotignu remembered what Grain had said when they first met. "Master, what did you tell me before that doesn't exist? Girl, if you go round and round, you will find that you will eventually return to where you started." Green did not speak directly, but said something more specious. Original point, Sotignu frowned. "Are you going back to the Mermaid Kingdom now?" Seeing Sotignu's bitter face, Green couldn't help but laugh. "Girl, you are not suitable for thinking. Just do it in the way you like best and the best. Maybe you will get the results you want." At this time, the ship was about to leave, and tickets had already been checked to board the ship. "Thank you, Master." Sotignu blinked her big eyes and waved her little paw. "Master, have a safe journey, see you later." "Girl, see you later." Looking at the ship that was going away and the figures on the ship that were getting smaller and smaller, Sotignu stood on the shore, the sea breeze blowing on his cheeks. She suddenly remembered something. A life is a journey. In the beginning, I came alone. No matter what wonderful and unforgettable people and things I met along the way, I was destined to leave alone in the end. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 421. The Master is gone. Sotignu was also ready to leave and set off for the Mermaid Kingdom. Although there was little progress in the mission when I came to Clay Island, it would be a great gain to meet a wise man like Master. Main mission, looking for the heart of the brave, 5/8, to be refreshed. Huh? Why has the progress of hero's heart changed? Sotignu was very surprised. This panel suddenly pops up, and the progress displayed later is also different. Friendliness, integrity, bravery, unyielding, what's more this time? Sotignu took out the conch from the inventory. After arriving at Clay Island, Sotignu put the conch into his inventory and rarely took it out. As soon as the conch emerges, it glows with orange light. Orange means humility. Sotignu blinked his big eyes. Humility generally refers to being humble and not arrogant, and is mostly used between younger people and older people. Could it be that she was against the Master? Sotignu was surprised. There is definitely something wrong with this broken conch. I was obviously very humble when I first met Master. Is there still a delay? The lighting up of the fifth quality really gave Sotignu a small surprise. Sotignu, who felt instantly happy, bought enough food and water for her for a month from a shop near the beach, and then put them all into the storage ring given by Grain. After buying it, Sotignu found a deserted place and tried to put the storage ring into the inventory. Props, Grain storage ring. Grade, rare. Function, small ring, big space. Can copies be brought out? Yes. Usage, 100%. Note, you can pretend to be whatever you want, except pretending to be awesome. Sotignu looked surprised. Wow, it can really be stored in the inventory. Originally, Sotignu was worried that after the storage ring was put into the inventory, the items in the ring would be rejected. But now it's completely fine. In other words, items that cannot be stored in the inventory in the future can be put into the storage ring first and then stored in the inventory together. Sotignu checked the space inside the storage ring again. It was about the size of a two-story villa. Sotignu tried again without taking out the storage ring and wanted to directly take out the food inside the ring. At this time, the panel popped up. Warn. Players, please stop your inappropriate behavior. Huh? Is it not okay? Sotignu tried a few more times, but the warning on the panel was still there, unchanged. Seeing this, Sotignu smashed her mouth in regret. On hand, Sotignu and the magic book that Grain gave him before were also placed in the storage ring, and then the storage ring was returned to the inventory. After buying food and water, Sotignu still had 600 to 700 gold coins left in his hand and had no place to spend them. And Sotignu planned to return to the Mermaid Kingdom, and these human gold coins were of little use. By the way, when we first left the city, We passed through a slum area, right? Sutinyu weighed the money bag in his hand and had an idea in mind. The hat's cooling time had ended. Sutinyu put on the hat and immediately became invisible. The poor area is outside Clay City. There was no brick or tile to protect them from the wind and rain. The poor people only collected a lot of rags and pieced them together to make a tent that could barely cover the roof. The sanitation in poor areas is even more dirty and poor. Sutinyu came invisible all the way, his nose was wrinkled all the time, and the smell nearby was a bit unpleasant. Sutinyu only had 600 to 700 gold coins, so he couldn't help everyone in the poor area, and he couldn't hand over the gold coins to them openly. That would not be a good intention, but would harm others. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 422. As for converting gold coins into supplies or something, it would be too ostentatious and troublesome. After thinking about it, Sutinyu decided to distribute the gold coins to see which family had the biggest burden, and then secretly leave 1 or 2 gold coins in their residence. When the cool-down time of the hat was almost over, Sutinyu only had 4 gold coins left on hand. She simply gave it all to the next poor family, and then quietly left without taking away a single cloud. After Sutinyu left, a few hours later, when people who had been tired from sunrise to sunset returned to their dwellings, they all found that there were more gold coins in their homes. This night was a very ordinary night. There is a remote shop that has no lights and is no longer open. An outsider from another world quietly left. This night was another extraordinary night. The news that the princess who had been sleeping for many days had woken up spread throughout the city. The genius mage Elsa and several of his confidants mysteriously disappeared. In the slums outside the city, hundreds of families were excited that night, holding a touch of gold in their hands. Some people even knelt down and worshipped outside the door, murmuring, "Main mission, looking for the heart of the brave, 6/8, to be refreshed. Ah! This time it's mercy." In the sea, Sutinyu had another friendly exchange with a shark, and the latter was very happy to take him to the mermaid kingdom. Sutinyu was very touched by this, but it was a pity that the shark was not a fool. Sutinyu took out the conch and watched it flash with blue light. Sutinyu put the conch back into the transparent bag, hung it around his neck again, held his chin and pondered. Why is the Mercy Society illuminated? Is it because of the gold coins I put there? Did the residents find out? But they must not know that they put the gold coins themselves. This time it was still the result of Conch's own judgment. He. Sutinyu suddenly realized that these gold coins were a good gift. Another quality can be lit up. Now, there are only 2 qualities left, wisdom and justice. There may be a problem in the land of merfolk. This is the answer given by Sutinyu's sixth sense after exploring all the way. If the secret behind the mermaid kingdom can be found out, the quality of wisdom should also be illuminated. Sutinyu didn't have much idea about the remaining impartiality, he could only take it one step at a time. Wow! This is our territory. This is the land where our ancestors have lived for generations. It's not yours. On the edge of the mountain range ahead, there was a vast area of darkness. The shark carrying Sutinyu was forced to stop. The powerful human race cannot get through there. We have to take a detour. Sutinyu asked, "Detour? How long will it take?" "It will take a day or 2 longer than the original journey," the shark replied. "Is it okay if we don't take a detour?" Sutinyu frowned slightly. The shark's expression was tangled. Powerful human race, you don't know something. This section of the mountain range is inhabited by a group of iron lobsters with bad tempers. Normally, if weak sea creatures pass by here, they will be beaten away. Only a sea creature of my size and strength can pass through, but it cannot stay for long. In the past month, the territory of the bloody iron lobster has been invaded by a group of solitary black-headed frogs, and both parties are unwilling to move the group. Sometimes if they disagree, scuffles will break out, which can easily hurt innocent people. After listening to the shark's explanation, Sotinyu looked away and fell on the tense group of blood-gall iron lobsters and lonely black-headed frogs ahead. Sotinyu said, "No more detours. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game." Author, Kuanke. Chapter 423. Okay, let's take a detour here. No detour. Shark's expression was stunned for a moment, and he doubted whether he was hallucinating or hearing something wrong. So Shark asked again, fearing that Sotinyu didn't understand the seriousness of the matter. "Really don't want to take a detour? These two groups are not easy to mess with. The blood-gall iron lobster has rough skin and thick flesh. It is not afraid of fire or poison. It often uses the seabed magma as a hot spring. The solitary black-headed frog's body is extremely poisonous, and its skin and the saliva is full of poison, and once it is contaminated, you will die immediately within 10 seconds. Is that so?" Sotinyu blinked his big eyes. "The iron lobster with blood gall has rough skin and thick flesh? That's because the beating he received wasn't deep enough. Is the solitary black-headed frog highly venomous? The water-repellent beads on my body should be able to block saliva, but it can't come into contact with their skin? Let's see if it's their poison that's more powerful, or the death blade's corrosive power. And, the most important thing. If she just doesn't want to take a detour, Sotinyu naturally doesn't want to cause trouble, she is so well behaved." But now, after hearing about the dispute between the two groups, Sotinyu turned his head and instantly thought of the unlit quality of justice. If she intervenes in this matter and handles the territorial dispute between the two ethnic groups impartially, will it be possible to ignite her impartial character? The more Sotinyu thought about it, the more interesting it became, and his expression instantly became righteous. Whether it's quality or not, the little fairy has never cared about it. Mainly, I simply want to help these two groups. If you argue and fight every day, how much precious time will be lost for eating, sleeping and playing beans? Sotinyu patted the shark sitting next to him. "Don't worry, come over, I'll protect you, nothing will happen to you." The shark swallowed his saliva, wanting to cry without tears. The blood-gall iron lobster is okay. Although it can't beat them, it can swim fast on its own. But those solitary black-headed frogs, which look gloomy and are not easy to deal with, are highly poisonous. If you accidentally get a little bit of it, swimming fast will be useless. He died halfway. Seeing how cowardly the shark was, Sotinyu scratched his head. "No, I have to fool him, ahem, I need to lend him some courage." "Got it?" Sotinyu took out the storage ring and took out 2 bottles of magic potion. This is a magic potion that can cure hundreds of poisons. After you drink 1 bottle, you will definitely be able to withstand the poison of the lonely black-headed frog. Is this thing reliable?" Shark was a little doubtful. Sotinyu vowed, "Don't worry, I'll drink too. I'm not stupid. I can't risk my own life, right? When the time comes, just take me in. If anything goes wrong, you can leave first and wait for me outside." The shark's eyes rolled. "Wait a moment. Send this human race in, and he can escape justifiably. As for staying outside and waiting for someone, haha, only fools would wait." In order to get rid of this human race as soon as possible, Shark gritted his teeth and agreed, "Okay, I'll go in with you." Sotinyu gave one of the potions to Shark to drink, and then ran into the tent and drank the other one. There is no way, this is the inconvenient part of avoiding water droplets. Regardless of the liquid, as long as it is a liquid, it will be isolated. Sotinyu came out and ate a candy while putting away his tent. "Okay, let's go." Sotinyu sat on the shark's back again. After coming up, she said calmly, "By the way, there is a chronic poison in the bottle of potion you just drank. 2. It will attack after an hour and cause death directly from the poison. Only I have the antidote." Shark's expression was stunned. "And wow, the candy I just ate is actually the antidote. Remember, wait for me outside and don't think about running away." When the shark heard this, he almost cried, "I won't run away even if I beat you to death." Okay, go, go, go. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 424. The two groups were not happy with each other, and gradually started to take action. The blood-gall iron lobster flashed its large pincers and waved them with a clicking click. The lonely black-headed frog puffed up its mouth and accumulated more and more saliva. "Stop, stop, stop, don't hit, don't hit." At this moment, Shark burst in with Sotingyu, interrupting the tense scene that was about to break out. "Who are you? Why do you want to break into our territory?" the hot-tempered blood and iron lobsters were the first to ask. If Sotingyu didn't explain clearly, he would use his pliers to beat people. Not to be outdone, the lonely black-headed frog said, "Get out of here quickly, this is the territory of our lonely black-headed frog family." Now, the bloody gall iron lobster and the others have stopped working. "Shameless, what is your territory?" "This is the territory of our blood gall iron lobster clan." "Fart. This is ours. This is ours." Seeing the two groups quarreling again, Sotingyu coughed loudly twice, immediately attracting the attention of the two groups. However, 2 powder barrels were also set alight. "Well, you are a member of the clan, so ignorant and still stuck here. What? Do you also want to come and grab the territory?" "What? Seizing territory? Absolutely impossible." At this moment, Sotingyu set himself on fire. At this moment, the two groups unanimously wanted to deal with Sotingyu first. Seeing that the situation was not good, the shark immediately ran away. Seeing this, the two groups became more vigilant about whether Sotingyu would escape. Anyway, they had been arguing for so long, and it just so happened that they needed a punching bag. The hemagall iron lobster suffers from the highly poisonous black-headed frog. Although they are somewhat resistant to the poison, they will still suffer casualties if they fight in turns. The solitary black-headed frog also suffers from the claws of the iron lobster. Although their whole bodies are poisonous, their bodies are not as strong as the latter's poison alone. The two groups, which had been arguing for almost a month, suddenly seemed to have a tacit understanding at this moment, and wanted to jointly target the little human girl in front of them. "As long as I poison this human race to the point of crying for father and mother, these dead lobsters will definitely fear my strength," the leader of the lonely black-headed frog thought to himself. "As long as I beat this human race until his nose is bruised and his face is swollen, these stinky toads will definitely fear my strength," the leader of the bloody iron lobster thought to himself. Tisk tisk. The situation seems a little bad. Sotingyu took out the death blade to defend himself. She was here to break up the fight, right? Well, now they have stopped arguing. Rounding it all off, the breakup was successful. "Brothers. Copy guys," the lobsters showed off their big pliers. Sotingyu held the death blade in front of him and pointed the sharp blade at the lobsters. Come on now, it's still a bit difficult for them to calm down and listen to him. It seems that they chose to beat them all before they were willing to listen to him. Of the human race who doesn't know whether to live or die? Bah. When the toads saw Sotingyu, their attention seemed to be on the group of lobsters, and they took the opportunity to swallow their saliva at Sotingyu. Just when the toads thought that this skinny human was about to raise his hair, it turned out that the spittle seemed to be blocked by an invisible film and could not touch the body of this skinny human at all. What's going on? The toads were a little confused. At this time, the lobsters mocked, "A bunch of useless toads, If you want to beat this human race to tears, you have to look at the iron pliers of our bloody and brave lobster clan. Oh, come here then. Sutinyu raised his fingers towards the lobsters. If the toads attack her at close range, they are still a bit of a threat to her, but these lobsters, tisk tisk, I'm definitely not looking down on them. Brothers, how dare this ignorant human race laugh at us? Let her see our big pliers. Come on.